Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the absolutely incredible, decades-long journey of a man named Lal Singh Ch. We're mapping out a story of pure, unfiltered innocence set against the backdrop of some seriously monumental, chaotic history. It's a fascinating look at how one guy's remarkably simple perspective intertwines with the deeply complex and turbulent tapestry of a whole nation.
So let's just dive right in with a piece of philosophy that honestly sets the tone for everything we're about to talk about. Life is like a Golgappa. Your stomach might get full, but your heart never does. This brilliant little nugget of wisdom comes straight from Lal's mother. It perfectly captures the emotional core of every single phase of his life. It's all about having this endless, almost stubborn capacity for love and wonder, no matter what kind of heavy stuff life throws your way.
All right, let's start at the beginning. Childhood and those famous magic shoes growing up in Karoli. Now, this brings us to a defining element of his early years, his magic shoes. Actually, scratch that. They weren't magic at all. They were heavy metal leg braces. But his mother, she point-blank refused to let society, or anyone for that matter, label him as less than normal. She convinced him these braces were literal magical tools, and she fought to get him into a regular school. That's where he meets Rupa, his absolute best friend. As Lal puts it, they stuck together like aloo and gobi, potatoes and cauliflower. You know, Lal comes from this incredibly proud lineage. He's actually named after 3 generations of ancestors who all died in wars. But his mother is fiercely determined to shield his innocence from that heavy legacy. Eventually, though, the real world creeps in. School bullies corner him, throwing stones. And this terrifying moment triggers a massive physical awakening. As he desperately tries to get away, those rigid magic shoes literally break apart piece by piece, and he discovers he can run faster than the wind. This one single moment, it kicks off the entire motif of running that defines the rest of his life. Moving right along to college and historical turmoil. Running through history, we are talking about some incredibly tense, dark moments in Indian history here. The end of the emergency in 77, the tragic assassination and horrifying anti-Sikh riots in 84, the Babri Masjid and Mumbai blasts in 92. So how does Lal survive this darkness? Well, his mother brilliantly shields him from the violent reality of all these events by simply telling him to stay indoors because, quote-unquote, malaria is spreading. He genuinely believes there's just a bad sickness in the air. It's wild, but it keeps his innocence completely intact. While his childhood friend Rupa eventually heads off to Mumbai chasing big dreams of stardom and wealth, Lal's speed pretty much dictates his entire path. He goes from outrunning college bullies straight onto the 100-meter track at Delhi University. His incredibly fast legs literally carry him all the way through his BA degree. He remains completely, beautifully oblivious to the political turbulence exploding all around him. His focus? Just the track, the finish line, and his memories of Rupa. Next up, we have the Kargil War and his military deployment. This right here brilliantly illustrates exactly who Lal is at his core. Consider this insane contrast during a heavy artillery ambush. On one hand, you have Lal, sprinting back into literal crossfire purely to save injured men, completely blind to the uniforms they have on. On the other hand, you have Muhammad Paji, an extremist enemy commander who is just completely bewildered to be scooped up and carried to safety by the exact same Indian soldier he came there to kill. In the heat of battle, Lal doesn't see borders or politics. He just sees people who need help. And that leads to a massive twist of fate. 5. That is the miraculous number of lives Lal single-handedly saved during that one ambush. This act of just pure, raw selflessness earns him a prestigious medal and, well, a bullet right in the buttock. It's a painful wound for sure, but he happily endures it because the military hospital lets him eat 18 ice creams a day. But listen, this heroism comes at a devastating cost. Tragically, his absolute best friend, Bala, did not make it out of that battle. Which brings us to the Chatty Bunyan business and a 1 lakh rupee promise. The setup for this new business venture is just wildly ironic. See, Bala's original master plan was for Lal to handle the manufacturing and Bala would handle the marketing. But the actual reality, Lal handles manufacturing, they hire 2 workers, but Muhammad Paji, yes, the literal enemy commander Lal saved in Kargil, tracks Lal down to take over the marketing for this tiny little underwear business. You literally couldn't make this up. So how exactly do they sell these things? Honestly, it's a hilariously rocky start. They try buy one, get one free. Fails entirely. Okay, how about buy one, get 3 free? Still, absolutely zero sales. Then Podge has this total light bulb moment. Men's underwear needs a feminine touch to sell. The second Lal names the product after a girl, his childhood love, Rupa, the brand just explodes. I mean, massive nationwide success. They go from 3 dinky sewing machines to a ridiculously wealthy corporation almost overnight.
But as we all know, success doesn't freeze time. Life keeps bringing its inevitable, heavy changes. Mohammed Paji has a profound revelation. He realizes the violent extremism he used to follow was the actual malaria infecting the world, and he leaves to go build a school. Then, tragically, Lal's beloved mother passes away from cancer. True to who he is, Lal uses his massive new wealth to open a free hospital in her name. Stripped of his mother, his business partner, and his military structure, his life just simplifies again. He retreats to a quiet farm life, setting the stage for a heartbreakingly brief reunion when Rupa temporarily returns, only to vanish into the night once again.
And that heartbreak sparks Chapter 5, The Great Indian Run. He just starts running. He starts from the mountains, running far beyond his village, far beyond the borders of Punjab, just marveling at the glowing Himalayas in the dead quiet of the night. It's this breathtaking physical escape from his deep internal pain. He runs all the way to the deserts, passing through the stunning dual skies of Ladakh, running straight under the setting suns of these vast, seemingly endless desert landscapes. And he doesn't stop. He runs clear to the oceans, watching the sunset over the waters of Kanyakumari, at the very tip of India. He keeps this up for years, staying in continuous motion with absolutely zero destination in mind. The contrast here between his inner journey and the outer world is just staggering. He unwittingly jogs right through the massive 12-day Anna Hazare anti-corruption fast and instantly becomes a huge media sensation. Meanwhile, Rupa is unfortunately arrested in Punjab due to some really troubling ties with an underworld don, and it's actually from police custody that she sees Lal running on the national news. Just like when he was a kid, Lal is completely oblivious to the major national headlines he is jogging right through. He is just a man desperately trying to outrun his own broken heart. So after years of this continuous motion, surrounded by a massive, growing crowd of followers who are entirely convinced he's running for some profound political or environmental cause, he abruptly halts, right in the middle of a desert road. And the question on everyone's mind is simply, why did he stop? His answer? It's as simple as it is powerful. I am tired. I am going home. That's it. There was no grand political or spiritual revelation to hand down to his followers. He had simply processed his grief, exhausted his heartbreak, and was finally truly ready to go back home. Which brings us to the final chapter, Destiny and Reunion. The narrative beautifully comes full circle here. Lal travels to Delhi to find Rupa. There, he discovers she has a hyper-intelligent young son named Aman, and the incredibly beautiful revelation, he realizes Aman is his own son. Tragically, Rupa soon passes away from an illness. But think about this. Lal, a man who was once deemed less than normal by everyone around him, is now a wealthy, decorated hero, successfully raising a brilliant son entirely on his own and sending him off to his very own old school to start a brand new chapter. So I'm going to leave you with one final profound thought to ponder today. Are we all following a predetermined destiny, or are we just floating around in the breeze like a feather? Was Lamia's incredibly unpredictable journey the specific Golgappa destiny his mother firmly believed in, or was he just a feather in the wind, floating purely by chance through monumental history? It's a beautiful question to carry with you. Thanks so much for diving into this truly remarkable story with me.